Hello everyone, GeneralApple here and welcome back to another house in Fata Morgana video. And on our last playthrough, we finally reached the long anticipated Jacopo Revolution, which was as good as I expected it to be. We read about it in very short detail in the first game, but now we finally got to see it in its full glory. And it was indeed glorious. It was the best read we had so far. And I was so damn happy that the Lord died at the end. Even though we knew this would happen, it was so much better seeing it in full detail. But before the Lord actually died, he told Jacopo that being a Lord is going to be his curse. And he was right. We know that because we played the first game. And even though, you know, it was rather short revolution story, we got to see the interlude after that, which expanded so much about Jern past, which was actually unexpected. I really didn't expect them to expand this much about her, but that was also really good. And I mean, in terms of reading, obviously the story itself was really sad. She has gone through such a horrendous life, but since she was born unable to feel any negative emotion, she didn't really knew that everything she went through was bad. So it was really interesting to see her perspective on things and experience it like through her eyes essentially, and why she fell in love in the Lord in the first place and betrayed, you know, the people of the brothel, which again, as I said, she was a double agent. I said it from the very first time I saw her. But yeah, it was still very sad, but a very good read. So we kind of stopped right after the interlude when I was about to begin the second chapter. So let's go right to that and continue from that point. Yeah, part 2. What's past is prologue. Where should a heathen say, where is now our God? But our God is in the heavens. He had done whatsoever he had pleased. Oh, I don't think I can read this in time, so I'll just be quiet. Another quote. By the way, I actually have absolutely no idea what we're about to see now. Probably Jacopo struggles being a lord. Maybe it. It's what logically follows. 'Tis a great shame what happened to Jin. The post-revolution merrymaking continued into the wee hours of the morning. After things settled down and the men returned to city, an elderly man calling himself Odilion showed himself before me. Despite his evident age, the man stood tall and spoke in clear, confident voice. Looking into his deep sapphire eyes, I felt as though I could see everything he had borne witness to in these walls engraved within them. Odilion revealed himself as an ally of the revolution and as having been in contact with Jin. Had things proceeded as initially planned, she was to take power and build the land anew with my assistance, but great change is never without its cost. Nevertheless, I am unspeakably grateful for how swiftly you managed to dethrone the former lord. Without your heroic effort, we would still... Enough with the ass-kissing. Tell me who you are and exactly what you're hoping to get out of me. No need to be so apprehensive, I assure you. I am more than happy to tell you everything you wish to know. I served as consul to the late Lord Jean-Francois Barnier, and 'twas I who aided the revolution from within the manor walls, coordinating with Minerva on the outside. Oh, wow. Oh, so it was him. He seeked the Lord downfall. That's interesting. So that make you the one who ordered the gates open for us then? Verily. Furthermore, I arranged to have a number of the guards turn coat. Well, you did a fine work. We would have lost a lot more men without your efforts. I have to ask though, where were you while it was actually happening? I don't recall seeing you anywhere. I took the liberty of finding myself shelter. How fortunate for you to be able to kick back and watch, only to crawl out of your hole after we relieved the Lord of his head. Might you, perchance, but suggesting this old bag of bones take up a blade? I would only serve as an impediment to your success. 30 years ago, mayhap, but hardly could I point a sword straight today. Or perhaps you would say that I, as a supporter of your cause, should have been present for the occasion regardless. But of little aid I would have been, merely dying a full death, becoming naught but another body upon which the living would trek. You're skilled with your words, old man. Of course, 'tis my job. There is but one service I can provide you, my knowledge. Knowledge? Meaning you intend to continue to serve as the Lord Counsel? For what other reason would I lend you my hand to this revolution? My hand? You expect me to just take your word, to trust you? Surely you're aware that you cannot rightfully govern this territory without the acknowledgement of the neighboring counts and the king. I have knowledge and connection which would prove invaluable in establishing you as legitimate and qualified to inherit the throne. Yes, I know. I did not stutter into here blind. I still hadn't figured out how I would accomplish that, but... Wait, I recognize you from somewhere. I remember. You were here during the revolt 3 years ago. You're the one who helped Barnier escape. 'Twas indeed I. That's all the more reason not to trust you. You sat back and watched, not a damn peep, as that clown of a lord left these people to rot. Like hell I'm letting you be my counsel. You're an astute young man, but still far too green for your own good, and you fail to fully separate yourself from your old life. Excuse me? I assure you, I was no more fond of Lord Barnier's predilections than you, but as I am sure you are aware, he was quick to send his opponents off to the gallows, and he would be no more merciful to his counsel than a slum dweller. My objections would have ensured but one thing, a swift, meaningless death. Moreover, you know it. It was not you know it was not yet the time, and stayed your hand, nay? I too had reached the same conclusion, and was awaiting the appropriate time. The perfect time was to rearrange the board. Ah, you must dispense of the childish emotions that control you. Act exclusively in service of that which most benefits you. And you cannot do so without someone to guide you. You are still merely a fledgling, young man. You know not up from down in this vast new world, and you have neither an army nor the weapons with which to defend yourself. Should you go out into that world unaccompanied, it will snap your neck before you feel the hands upon your skin. And what benefits are you hoping to reap from this? You're not acting out of love for the people, that much is obvious. A chance to fulfill my duties as consul to the Lord. My expertise went largely unused under Lord Barnier rule. 'Twas a deeply frustrating time for me. Though if I may be blunt, perhaps I should say, that I would like to die knowing I have accomplished something worthwhile with my life. I can promise you, I have no intention of mistreating the people for my own personal amusement. Still, you've still given me no reason to actually trust you. Allow my work to speak for my words. Allow me to proffer unto you my knowledge, that it might be of service to you. I don't completely trust this man, nor do I think I ever will. He's after something, probably wants to use me as a puppet under the guise of assisting me as my counsel. He makes a good point though. I'll need someone to show me the ropes if I want any chance of governing effectively. Have you come to a decision? Okay. It's a pleasure to have you, Odelian. Oh, at your service. That said, try anything and you'll be out the door faster than you can blink. Understood. Good. Now, if I may, I would like to offer my first instruction. And what would that be? You will need to make a formal proclamation of your succession. There are still many among your people who know not who you are. Thus, you must declare yourself the rightful heir, the lost son of Lord Barnier, predecessor. You must assume a new name. Say again? The name by which you were known before is but a veil, behind which you guarded your noble identity, and the time has come now for you to reclaim your true self. Hold on a second, Yes, I'm aware of your lineage. Okay, then, what name do you suppose I should take? You shall assume his name, Jean Francois Barnier. Is this some kind of a sick joke? You're insane if you think I'm taking on that psychopathic killer name. Why on this green earth would I ever want to call myself after the men I dethrone? Among the nobility, the names are often passed on from father to son, from brother to brother. But why his name, a name associated with fear and tyranny? Are you trying to hobble me before I take my first step? You will remove the stain his deeds have left upon the name. Lord Barnier killed his father, brothers, and all their families and attendants, as Jen likely told you. Why do you suppose he killed them? Are you mocking me, old man? He killed them because he was a damn madman. Lord Barnier was not the rightful heir. Whoa! That's big! Wait, he wasn't the eldest? Excuse me? He was merely a stand-in to be disposed of and quietly replaced when came the time. However, he grew voracious for power, fixated on becoming the Lord himself. So he killed everyone who stood in his way, both the Barnier family and the attendants who knew the truth. Though we failed to realize that the Lord had sired another son. You, the rightful inheritor of the Jean-Marquis Barnier name. Oh, okay. I got it. So that's our story, huh? I'm not the fake. He was. When the truth is revealed, the people will be enraptured and, crucially, the damage to the Barnier family name will be minimized. After all, the Barnier were but the victim of the charlatan avarice. As you are to take on the Barnier family name, it is to your benefit that the reputation you inherit is as unblemished as possible. Furthermore, you have nothing to gain from keeping your present name. No longer are you the man you were in the slums. You must become a new man entirely. Enough. I need time to think. A day, give me just one. I cannot. 'Tis a matter of the utmost importance. You must act swiftly, for the opportunity will pass and the tides turn against your anon. The people are on your side for now. However, should you fail to expeditiously demonstrate that you, as the new lord, are likewise on their side, you will find yourself with more than the counts upon your doorstep. You must decide now, sir. All right, I'll swallow my pride. I knew there would need to be some changes before I embark on this road, so this isn't unexpected. Just moving quicker than I was prepared for. A wise decision. Now, before we move on to the next order of business, I must ask, are you physically well enough to remain on your feet for a short while longer? You will need to stand before your people and make a speech. Nevertheless, it is evident that you were wounded from your battle, and would reflect poorly on your accomplishments were you to collapse during your first appearance. I'll be fine. I can hold myself up long enough to give a speech. Oh, youth, what a wonderful thing. You must be sure to get your rest once you have finished. I will arrange for the best doctor to come examine you. Appreciated. Now then, let us be off. You need merely repeat after me. Hey, did you hear the new Lord's speech? Barnier was a fraud this entire time. What? No way. God, I should have skipped work and gone up to the manor to see it. You still got a chance. Go down to the square. The town's crier spreading the word of the whole thing. Did you hear it? The new lord led a charge on the revolution. And he was the real Jean-Francois Barnier. I heard. I was there for his speech. He's so young and easy on the eyes to boot. They say he spent years living in the slums, hiding his true identity. That must have been so difficult for him. At long last, we're free from our suffering, free from the terror of Lord Barnier. Cheers for the new lord. Wow. Oh, give me a break. You're no damn lord. How goes it, Maria? You look like you ain't slept in weeks. Ah. Where's your smile, girl? Today's a day for celebrating. Oh, go fuck yourself. What? You're the one who pushed him into this. Huh? What's you getting pissy about? You pressured him into this dumbass revolution, into becoming the fucking lord. Whoa, that ain't what happened at all. Jacob was the one who proposed the whole thing. Bullshit, he was trying to talk sense into you at the Midsummer Festival. Ah, for the love of cripes. What crawled up your ass and died? The batshit asshole gone, and now we got someone on our side in power. Where's the complaint about that? Is there anything in that meathead of yours? What was that? Do you realize he can never come back now, right? He's the Lord. He's gone, and he's gone for good. Up there in that manor, all by himself. And you dragged him up to the top of that hill and left him there. I get that you want someone to take this out on, but Jacopo's also the one who proposed becoming a lord. No, I didn't push a damn thing on him. He showed up one day with a ring bearing the Barnier family crest, then told everyone he was royalty and he had to claim the throne. This is insane. It was his words that sparked the revolution. There's no way. Jacopo is royalty? You need to get a better sense of humor. My thought exactly at first too. But then I saw the crest on the ring. It's the real deal. Did you miss the whole part when he put on the ring in front of everyone before we stormed the manor? His whole spiel about being the heir? Or spiel, I don't know. That was pretty damn convincing if I do say so myself. You seriously think I was there for some stupid pep talk? Ain't you his friend? I feel like a friend should be rooting for his success, you know? That's what I'm doing, I can say that much. Anyway, I got a hot date with a couple of kegs, so I'm out of here. Unless you want to come with, we're gonna be partying all night long. Like hell I'm coming. Just thought I ask. Try not to look so sour all the time, Kay. You're much prettier when you're smiling. Choke on a dick, asshole. Duly noted. Later. Oh god, I can't root for him because he's my friend. I know better than anyone that he's in over his head. All I can do is pray for you, Jacopo. Pray that you'll always be the Jacopo we know. That this won't change you. We're still friends, right? Even if we're worlds apart now. Oh. Oh man. After giving me just enough time to recover, Odilian quickly got to work, instructing me in everything I need to know to be a lord. My first priority was to revitalize the city, clean up the mess my predecessor had left in it. As much as I wanted to ensure that everyone had food and water, it simply wasn't possible to make that happen overnight. We would need to significantly expand our farmland, build additional garneries, repair existing irrigation canals, not to mention crack down on crime and disorder. There was so much to do it was almost dizzying, but the last thing I had time to do was whine. That said, none of it could happen with a snap of the fingers. It would take time and manpower, which meant we would have to use existing stores in the meantime. I asked the people, particularly among the upper class, to relinquish ownership of their stockpiles for me to redistribute among the population. That would allow everyone to make it through the transitional period, I figured. Naturally though, not everyone was happy with the arrangement, but the cries of dissatisfaction were drowned out by cheers of support when I explained that it was for everyone's sake, that we would need to band together to carry the whole city through what would be a rocky transition. As I was patting myself on the back for a job well done, Odilian shook his head and said, "'Twill hold a year at most. We have enough stores to last 3 years though. Two, if you want to be extra safe. They will set your manor ablaze long before the stores run dry." Excuse me? Why would they? I'm obviously doing everything in my power to revitalize the city, and I was the one who freed them from the claws of the tyrant. The people see only the results. Though they accept your promises of improvement now, if, in a year's time, they do not see those words bear fruit, their trust in you will wither away. That you came from the slums is viewed now as a heroic rise to power, but your past will soon be turned against you, used to delegitimize you. You must produce for them a tangible result. God, I knew this wouldn't be easy, but still. It boils my blood to think my predecessor sat around on his ass all day. Did he even accomplish anything in his entire time as the Lord? I can think of only one true positive effect of his regime. His support for the arts. His what? Surely you have seen the numerous pieces of art adorning this manor wall. He would often treat himself with works from the finest artists and artisans in the land. Oh, you mean all those paintings and vases and fancy drapes? Bunch of worthless junk, every last bit of it. None of it will do anything to fill people's empty stomachs. It would seem you understand not the value of art. Well, I did grow up in the slums. Do you know what purpose art served? Oh, I accidentally skipped. Do you know what purpose art served? To make you feel better? It's nice to have around, but not much more than that. Bribes, my boy. Oh, what? Those who hunger for power seemingly hunger for ways to flaunt it, and the singularity of a piece of art fills that role. Some have a genuine appreciation for art, others merely use it as a tool. But nonetheless, skilled craftsmen, artists, and their work naturally gravitate toward those with power. It would be wise for you to consider dressing somewhat less pedestrian soon. Now, we should be able to put the former Lord possessions to good use in helping you to build up valuable relationships. You mean start handing out bribes? Indeed, but remember, they are negotiation tools. You must use them where they provide you the greatest returns. Negotiations, huh? Alright, I think I see what you're getting at. If I want to revitalize the city in a year, I'm going to need help from my good neighbors. In exchange for provision and workers, I offer the various counts pieces from Barnier collections. Sounds about right? Precisely. My, you are much cleverer than I expected the men from the slums. Now, if only you would become accustomed to this manner of thinking, you could become your fine leader in a short order. I appreciate the concern, old man. I will dispatch messenger and arrange meetings with the Count so we can begin none. And I hope I do not have to remind you, but you will need to be very careful with your words, Lord Barnier. Yeah, I know. You seem quite tired, Lord Barnier. You think? Every day I have to go meet with someone new, and I spend all my travel time learning how to read and write. It's enough to exhaust anyone. 'Tis necessary nonetheless. Illiteracy will only... Yes, I know. You said I look tired, and I'm telling you why that is. I never said I had a problem with it. I overstepped. My apology. Your diligence has been invaluable in earning the Count's favor, Lord Barnier. They think quite fondly of you. Is that so? Because that's certainly not the impression I'm getting. They put on a facade of friendliness, but beneath the surface they're all laughing, trying to figure out how to best use me, or just outright scoffing. None one of them sincerely trusts me. I'm just a pawn to them. We are all pieces on another's board. What's that supposed to mean? It would be more prudent to consider that unqualified friendship simply does not exist in high society. All interpersonal relationships are built upon a foundation of mutual benefit, save for exceedingly rare, short-lived exceptions. Nonetheless, you should not consider being used as a bad thing. We all climb atop each other's boards, offering yourself up as a power piece, and so do they offer themselves to us. Should you wish to survive in high society, you must always ensure your peers see you as a piece worth playing. Ooh. That would mean you're putting yourself out there as well, old man. Indeed, I am your pawn, Lord Barnier. I offer myself to you, and in using me, I gain this position as counsel to the Lord. It is a far more practical and reliable system than one founded on something so uncertain as emotion, would you not say? Which is to say, I am a pawn to him as much as he is to me. I suppose so. Then I, too, will have to ensure I remain useful, lest I be swept aside and another Barnier brought in to take my place. Oh, sharp words, my lord. But worry not, for I have no qualms with your performance at present. Now, Lord Barnier, we must discuss your next. Hold on a second, would you? Yes, sir? Do you mind not calling me Lord Barnier in private? I can understand why I want to keep up the charade even when no one's looking. But frankly, I'm just not comfortable with it. Very well. Then, my lord, it shall be. Can't say I'm surprised you won't use my real name, but still. Yeah, that'll do it. Thank you. Not at all. Now, back to business, my lord. It took long enough, but we're finally starting to see some real progress. Who knew negotiation was so much work? You should be proud of your accomplishments, my lord. 'Tis hardly an easy feat to amass that much manpower and resources in only 6 months. Doing better than expected, huh? How public opinion looking? Reports should be coming in by now, I assume. Some dissatisfaction, but numbers are within expectation. Dissatisfied? With what? I spent every waking moment these past 6 months working my ass off to revitalize this city, and people aren't happy with that? They should be jumping with joy. My lord, you must understand that it is impossible to satisfy everyone. A degree of discontent is to be expected. Even so, it should be blindingly obvious how much better I'm doing than that previous basket of rainbows and kittens. All is forgotten on the gentle ebb and flow of time. Past injustices matter little in the face of the present. It hadn't even been a year. The people do not genuinely care about you, nor will they ever. They may sing your praises one day and forget about you the next. I believe we have been through this before. Surely there's someone out there who gets it. That is wishful thinking, my lord. You could work yourself to the very bones, and the people would merely see you as fulfilling your duty. You must not seek their approval. More will expected of you, and more will you be the subject of undeserved resentment, for the simple reason that you exist in a position of power. Only those in similar position can understand your hardships. Ultimately, then, you have two choices. Either dedicate yourself in service of your people, or mercilessly exploit them like your predecessor. I won't follow in that bastard's footsteps. I pray your heart remains true, that you remain a wise and caring lord. Damn it. So what specifically aren't people happy about? The foremost is forced food shortages. This was anticipated, and all we can do is ask them to preserve. The second comes from the upper class. Go on? They are quite naturally displeased about being made to surrender their stockpiles. It would be prudent to offer them remuneration in the near future. They're doing well enough for themselves already, my lord. I know, just letting off some steam. So I get to go butter up all the rich men in town. Wonderful. The whole idea was to help the less well-off, yet here I am. I understand that you are not pleased about this, my lord, but do remember you have more to fear from a few of the upper class banding together than the entirety of the slum. For they wield the most troublesome weapon, an upper-class upbringing. They know precisely who to tell and what to tell about you to tarnish your reputation in the blink of an eye. And do not placid yourself by thinking the common men will see through the attempts to undermine you. Even if they did, an unlikely supposition, they could do nothing to counter it. Oh, sorry for me misreading. Some high words. Some very difficult words for me. They are powerless. But it was the people at the bottom who pulled most of the weight organizing and executing the revolution. It was an exceptional set of circumstances that allowed the revolution to take place as it did, not for the least of which was the Lord's status as unequivocally evil. In the eyes of the people. You will not find them all agreeing on anything so readily now. Alright, I get it. The point is, I gotta win over all the rich people or my whole operation's going to come to a grinding halt, right? So as much as it rubs me the wrong way, I'll do what I have to do. A wise decision, my lord. Is that the last of the complaints? No. The influx of immigrants has caused an increase in general unrest. Of course it has. I bring them in to help with the restoration effort, and they go and cause their own new set of problems. It's like I'm chasing my tail here. So as long as there are people under your authority, never will you shall be completely free of strife. You're telling me, so would increasing the guard presence in the city help keep the peace? Most of those with training necessary are already deployed, meaning you would need to have new guards trained from the ground up. You will have to mobilize them where they are the most needed. In other words, tighten your grip on the slums. So now I've got to take away their freedom. I know you have personal attachments to that area, my lord, but you must cast that aside. No longer are you the man you once were. The slums should have never been allowed to fall into such lawlessness in the first place. You will merely be restoring it to its proper state. If you truly wish to bring prosperity to this land, you must eventually scale down and then eliminate the slums. But if I get rid of the slums, I'll be getting rid of their home. My lord, I know, I understand what you're getting at, and I understand that everything you're saying is perfectly logical. Can we hold off on that for a bit? A bunch of guys down there formed this peacekeeper group for you. You know, keep the peace. They'd gladly help out if we could talk to them, I'm sure. We can scale up our patrols, but no stepping on their toes. Got it? As you command, my lord. That's actually a good idea. Ooh, fancy clothes, Jacopo. We back. Hard to believe it's been a whole year. It feels like I only just started yesterday, yet also like I've been doing this forever. You are looking somewhat worse for wear, my lord. Do I? Who am I kidding? You're right. On the other hand, you don't look like you even lost an hour of the sleep this entire year. Goes to show how inexperienced I really am. While it is true that I have been in this position for many years, I also do not bear nearly as much responsibility as you. I merely stand in the background and offer you small pieces of advice. All the while, you face the crowds directly, negotiate with counts, make dozens of difficult decisions. If there is one thing I have learned in all my years, it is that I could never begin to imagine the weight a ruler must carry. Never mind one who was never raised to take the throne and thrust himself into the labyrinth of politics and high society. It would be a greater surprise if the trials had not taken their toll. That reminds me, Barnier was the Lord for a full decade before we took him out, wasn't he? And as I recall, he hasn't as much of a despot early on. If just 1 year has taken this much out of me, how much longer before I'm no longer able to act like a reasonable human being? No, don't think like that, Jacopo. Actually, forget it. What matters is that we seem to be doing a good job minimizing discontent. Indeed, you have successfully made it through the first year. The city is decidedly more presentable than it was when you took the throne. There are precious few who could replicate your accomplishments in such short time, my lord. You would do well to take pride in your work. Pushing to do everything so quickly had taken its toll. The people are worn thin, slaves are dying by the drove. I still have ways to go before there's anything I can be proud of. Slaves are the tool of progress, my lord. Tools do not last forever and must be replaced regularly. And you can't build a house with your bare hands, I get it. You learn quickly. Not even a year ago, I would have been up in arms about the number of slaves dying. But now, they're just numbers to me. Apparently, my worldview has changed quite a bit. It is about time we started considering our next step. Meaning? Meaning your effort thus far has merely been towards repairing the damage caused by your predecessor. You make it sound like it was all just been a warm-up. My apologies. I did not mean to discount your great efforts, my lord. I was simply speaking of the grander scheme. Yeah, I got it. You want to settle on a direction for how to grow the city, right? Indeed. The status quo is vastly inadequate for bringing prosperity to this land. And there is no saying when the surrounding territories may cease being so friendly. And they set their eyes upon conquering us. But of course, you cannot keep your eyes trained outward in fear of attack and allow the land to devour itself from the inside either. So, what you're saying is, it's a balancing act. Precisely. So, what kind of advancements do you want to pursue? There is something that's been on my mind. This land is ill-suited to growing crops. When I lived down in the slums, I had no perspective and figured that what we would produce here was no different than anywhere else. But now I know better. The grapes used for our wine are miserable compared to what I've been served elsewhere, as it nearly everything else we grow. I can only assume the land itself is to blame. Oh, the wine from the south is indeed exceptional. You quite nearly gave me a heart attack when you leapt from your chair on the middle of a meeting, shouting, "This is nothing like the wine from home." Enough. That never happened. It was my first time tasting anything like it, alright? Anyone would have the same reaction. Oh, you have grown much, but nevertheless you're still quite green. God, I really need to watch myself around this man. In any case, it would be ideal if we could begin producing higher quality grapes, not necessarily to compete with the South, but enough to be serviceable. Efforts to improve our farmland are underway, although it could take some time before we see the progress. Have you any proposition, my lord? Actually, I was thinking it might be best to cut back on agriculture. Do elaborate. What if we were to build a city up into a trade hub of sorts? Meaning, you wish to open our gates to our neighbors? Exactly. One thing in the city has going for it its wealth of artisans, but for years we've only been we only ever exported our goods. I want to bring people here to purchase. We reduce taxes for merchants and give them special privileges, set tariffs and border taxes lower than they are in the capital, and business will naturally find its way here. This land may be less than optimal for farming, but it's more than adequate for trade. We're in a convenient location to serve as a hub for the surrounding realms. Rather than close our borders and wall ourselves off entirely, opening up and making ourselves of value to our neighbors is far more likely to dissuade potential invasion. Nice! He's bringing capitalism. That's actually a good thing. Ah, wait. DPI is showing. We're all pieces on another board. Isn't that right? Who says that can apply to the entire city? The best way to expand without stepping on anyone's toes is to do so in a way that benefits them as well as us. True. What do you think? A rather aggressive strategy you propose, my lord. If I may be so bold, there will be many obstacles to this plan's success. You will need to arrange meetings with the head of each realm you intend to invite, the order and timing of which will be crucial to its success. Furthermore, the influx of outsiders will be a source of much tension among your people. So you think I'm aiming too high? You are indeed aiming exceedingly high. Your obstacles will be numerous and precipitous. Nonetheless, obstacles can be overcome. Your exhaustion is nothing compared to the weariness that awaits you down this path. Do be well aware of this, my lord. You're damn right I am. If I'm going to do this, I'm gonna go all in. The Lord's Manor sat atop a tall hill. Gazing out, the city stretched before me. Countless columns of smoke rising from the buildings, the people scurrying about like so many ants. From up here, I had a perfect view of the bustle of the city. But I was too far away to feel the life breathing through it. To think it used to be one of those tiny little specks. Thousands of people lived there. They had families, jobs, friends, hobbies. But as much as I was cognizant of that fact, I no longer grasped it on anything more than a conceptual level. It was incredible just how much my view of the world had changed in merely a year's time. I'm going to go out into the world, I said. I thought that clawing my way to the top of the ladder would let me see it, would let me experience it. That with power, I could have the whole world at my fingertips. But reality wasn't so simple. This sure isn't what I was looking for. Hell, I feel like the chains just got tighter around my neck. There's no way to truly grasp the view from this height without climbing up and seeing it for yourself. And that was exactly where I was a year ago, blind to the reality of life in the upper echelons, fantasizing about a world that didn't exist. Unlike the me of the past, I did have the satisfaction of feeling like I was accomplishing big things. But was that really worth cutting myself off from all my friends? Did those achievements really justify a bloody revolution? Or, I suppose I should ask, was this work valuable enough to me to justify it all? Reminiscing about days long gone wasn't going to help anything, and in fact, it only served to cause me pain. I couldn't return to that time. This was where my quest for power had brought me, and now I had to live out my days as lord of this land, telling myself day after day that it was far better than being a powerless slum rat. God, I've been so busy these past few weeks. My eyes are... Oh. One day I'll show you the world. Do you ever get tired of saying that? You gotta think big, dream. The world's changing all around us. A life just fighting to make it day by day is hardly life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world. Well, try not to let your dreams go so big they crush you. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll just have you sing for me if it ever gets to be too overwhelming. Why would I be there? Why wouldn't you? It's hard to show you the world if I don't bring you with me. Knowing you, you still wouldn't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. So we can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh? Wow. Oh, I don't need to see the world. All I want is... reminiscing about better days. Calmer days. Dozed off for a second there. It feels like those days were an eternity ago. I don't need to see the world. All I want is what? All you want is what, Morgana? What were you trying to tell me? Man, it feels like a whole different place here now. You think? Look like the same old nasty dump it always been. He's talking about the whole city, adult. Exactly. Things are on the up and up in the city proper, but we ain't seeing a scrap of it down here. The heck is up with that? All the new shops spilling out past the city border, the highway into town turned into a full-blown bazaar. Oh, sounds nice. Is there anything in that damned head of yours? We're saying, how come we're still living like rats if they got enough spare coin to build all that market space? Hell, with all these damn immigrants coming in, the slum's even bigger shithole than before. You know, I never thought much of it till now, but you're right, the gang's been a lot busier lately with all the drifters. And Jacopo, Lord Barnier, ain't showed his mug down here even once since he took over. I mean, I get that the bloody lord can spend all day hanging out in the slums, but he could at least visit. Instead, he's spending all his time butting up with rich folks. And we used to be such good friends too. Wonder if he's planning to just not bother with us at all. I hope not, but that's sure what it's looking like. You think he'd at least throw us a bone rather than letting us the merchant and the upper class take coin baths in his coffers. Guess when he became one of them, he became just like him too. Feels like we're in the exact same place we were a year ago. He's no different than old Barnier. Ah. Oh man. God. Oh, it's you. So you find anything? Yeah? Got a proof you was looking for. But it'd be so kind to never give me a job like this again. I'd be hanged thrice over if the nobles found out I was sniffing around in their business. Oh, quit being such a bitch. You didn't steal nothing or kill anyone, you're fine. A man's secrets can sometimes be more than his life. But on to business. Your suspicions were correct. Well, fuck me sideways. Here's your pay. Take it and piss off. Nice doing business. Hey, hold up now. I risked my neck to get that for you. And this is all I get in return? Got a problem with that, you little bitch? No, sir. Don't you worry. You'll get your fair due shortly. Oh god, what is that? These construction costs are really starting to pile up. Can we pull the manor repairs off until we've taken more of the pressing matters? Like using that money to help the poor? The Lord and his residents are the face of his land. If you wish for this city to continue thriving upon the fruits of your relationship with the surrounding realms, you must maintain a minimum level of respectability, my lord. Merchants in particular are merciless judges of appearance. Of this you can be certain. No respectable merchant will do business on equal terms with a city whose lord refused to take care of his own home. I get that, but still, it's so much money. These are necessary expenses. To acquire the resources required to aid the lower class, we must increase the rate of production. Efforts must begin at the top and gradually work down. You must not be in such a great rush, my lord. The work you are performing is on a much larger, longer scale than perhaps that of which you are accustomed. You have a point. Then let the construction continue. I'm definitely coming to see just how crucial a bit of embellishment can be surviving in high society. Every engagement is like throwing myself into a lion's den. Everyone surrounding me, measuring me up. They question my pedigree, some with their eyes, some with their mouth. Some even attempt to dig up dirt on me in order to tilt the scales in their favor. Oh yeah, and there was that one time when I was straight up shouted at right in my face. You're no more damn noble than any of those other rats whose nest you crawled out of, if I recall. Not that he was wrong. I took the throne by force. It is only natural that people are going to have their suspicions. That I came from the slums is just the icing on the cake. I'm damned lucky if condescension is the worst treatment I get at first encounter. And then, there are distant relative Barnier let slip through the cracks, slithering back to assert their right to the land. There are a lot more people out to get me than I first anticipated. Do remain strong, my lord. Yeah, I will always be strong. If I so much as let these wolves smell weakness, they'll pounce all over me. Like hell I'm going to let that happen. I won't have time to work on helping the poor if I have to spend my days fending off packs of bloodthirsty nobles. I must always appear strong, under any circumstances. I, of all people, should know just how easily a lord can be dethroned. And I'll be next if I leave in even the slightest opening. Oh, what a jump scare. I have to do whatever it takes to make sure that's not my future. Perhaps you should get some rest, my lord. Excuse me? Are you insane? I have to review the construction budget, so allow me to handle that. I will get you something to drink. Perhaps a glass of that southern wine you're so fond of? It's quite sweet, perfect for elevating build-up fatigue. I am not fatigued. Calm now. Please take this request from an overly concerned counsel, my lord. Fine, you win. It's hard to believe it's only been a year and a half. I feel like we go way back. Oh, we do see each other every day after all. I'm starting to crave some variety, to be honest. I never found a good opportunity to ask you this, but... Yes? Do you have any family? Because if you do, you're more than welcome to have them live here. I appreciate your concern, my lord, but they all have passed away. All of them? Indeed. My entire family was eradicated at the previous Lord Order. Ah, that's horrible. Once, and only once, I offered him my humble opinion. So infuriated was he by my insolence that he had my family murdered. Wow. I would have much preferred myself killed in their stead. But he was a man who reveled in others' suffering. And you just kept on serving him? That is correct. I acted as his loyal servant, too afraid to speak up again. Acted? Recall what I said when we first met? I was sitting in wait for the perfect opportunity. Now you understand why. Well, damn. And if I may come clean about that time, I had every intention of disposing of the Revolution puppet master. Never once did I trust Jin. Her foolish motives were plain as day. As the new Lord Mother, she planned to control her planned usurper from the shadows, acting as the effective governor of the land. Having no family left myself, this city and its people are like my children. So I refused to stand by and allow her to turn them into tools to satisfy her own avarice. The land would hardly survive a tyrant sweeping in to replace a tyrant. But she was removed from the board by the former lord before she had a chance to see her aspiration to fruition. Knowing she was no longer a danger, I decided I would wait and see how the successor fared before taking any further action, to determine if you were sufficient to serve as lord of this land. And I guess I passed, huh? Are you not upset, my lord? Nothing to be upset about. You never hid the fact that you acted in your own interests. That if a piece had no value to you, you discarded it. And I always knew there was more than what you were telling me. I'll just say, I'm relieved to still be standing here. Oh, if only you knew how close you were to falling on the other side of that line. And am I really on edge? After all the work I've put into this. While you do have rare aptitude and strength of spirit, you are still much too easily swayed by your emotions. Ah. Ergo, I shall continue to instruct you until you are able to fully satisfy my expectation. 'Tis rather curious. So oft do we speak, so great our time together. I have come to think of you as my second son. Don't get all mushy on me, old man. We're not friends, and we're not family. I'm a pawn on your board and you're a pawn on mine. Strictly business. Oh, my apologies. I never said a word. Right. Never happened. Moving right along. You just keep doing what you do best. At your service, my lord. Out of curiosity, do we have any free hands around capable of riding a horse? For what purpose? There's someone I want found. Whoever it may be you wish to find, my lord, I'm obliged to remind you that. You don't even have to finish that, I know. I'm supposed to leave the past in the past. Let us see then. Your men have their hands rather full at present, though we can perhaps arrange for one of them to be reassigned. Are you sure? 'Tis a small request, and not once in your lifetime, in your entire tenure, have you requested to use your men for personal matter. I believe you can spare a hand or two on such rare occasions. Much appreciated. Shall I arrange for them to set off immediately? Please. I'm looking for a girl. If she's alive, she'll look around 13 or 14. And she has unusual markings on her face. Markings akin to burned scars? Barnier once imprisoned her in this manner. He used her as a prop for his banquets, cutting her up from head to toe. My guess is that the patches on her face are a result of Barnier abuse. Indeed, I know the girl. I presume she had not survived a slave revolt. I take it you care quite deeply about this girl, my lord? Then allow me to offer my sincerest apologies in his stead. No need to apologize. Will you help me find her, Odilion? I will oversee the search operation personally to the best of my ability, my lord. I pray the girl is still alive. As do I, unlikely as it may be. I'm just chasing after a sliver of a dream that shattered long ago. That said, if you do find her alive, bring her here without telling her it's the Lord at the Lord Order. She'll likely assume it's the old Barnier, who's after her if you say anything. And if she happens to have found a new home where she's happy, just leave her be. Understood. Time drifted slowly onward. As I anticipated, there was no news regarding her whereabouts, but new shops and stalls continued opening in the city, with them coming a steady flow of travelers and passing merchants. And as traffic through the city increased, so too did the number of people seeking an audience with me. I was getting busier by the day. My plans to attract merchants and artisans from the capital had worked, and every one of them seemed to have a bigger, more ambitious proposition than the last. My days became a cycle of meetings, reviewing proposition, balancing the budget, and deciding whether to proceed or postpone, and amidst all of the tumult, my thoughts drifted ever further from the poorest of my people. And that's the last day's meeting. There's no end in sight to this. That is a good thing, my lord. It means you have succeeded in drawing traffic to the city. I guess, but still. I need to go back and review all of those proposals, so... Lord Barnier, a moment. I don't have a moment to spare. A townsperson requests an audience with the lord. You have been instructed to deny entry to commoners. I tried, but he refused to leave the gate. Hold on, what's this man's name? Sir, he called himself Gretchen. Oh shit, is it really him? Let him in, by all means. My lord, you mustn't give anyone special treatment. Gretchen's not just anyone. We've been to hell and back together. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. I should hear what he has to say. No, my lord, you cannot. Your past is... He's a good friend. I'm not sending him away. That's not even on the table. Friend or not, you mustn't give him an audience. You are the lord now, and he a mere peasant. You cannot be certain he will hold himself with proper decorum. I don't appreciate what you're implying about my friend, old man. He's no goddamn brute. I imply nothing, my lord. Keep your counsel to topics you actually know something about. I'm not going to stand by and listen to anyone insult my friends. Not even you. My lord, must I remind you yet again to keep your temper in check? Ah, that's enough out of you. I'm done. Not another word on this subject. My lord. Hey, guard, open the gate. Yes, sir. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Sup, Jacopo? It's been ages. It feels like forever. How have you been doing? Never been better. How about you, kid? Show proper respect to your lord, peasant. You are to refer to him as Lord Barnier, not any false name he may have responded to while in hiding. Seriously? You ain't gonna let me kick him back even for a buddy? Enough, Odilion. He can call me by my old name. But my lord, I said I heard enough from you. Well, look at you, taking charge and barking orders all important like. You're like a whole new man, my lord. Please, you can use my name. I'm dead serious, though. Hard to believe it ain't even been 2 years. You seriously look like a whole new man. You think so? I don't feel like I've changed all that much myself. I don't know, you just, what's the word? Emanate to lordliness now. Guess it don't take long in the noble's den to turn you into one of them, no matter how far down the chain you come from. And look at this room. Look at all these fancy fucking furnishings. None of this old Barnier stuff, is it? Nope. With all the meetings I've been having, I need to make sure I had a room that was nice and presentable. Well, that's one way to put it. Hey, don't you think I'm just throwing around money for the fun of it? If I want any pull in negotiation, I need to look like I have. No need to explain yourself, kid. I totally get it. It ain't easy dealings with a bunch of rich folks with sticks up their asses. I appreciate it. Anyway, what brings you here today? Whoa, bud, do I need a reason to visit a friend? Can a guy just say wanna hang out and catch up? Come on. I never said that. I'm just extremely busy at the moment. I don't have much time to spare for anyone. Come on, don't be such a tight ass. That's exactly why I'm here. To make sure you don't got to stick up so they're so deep in puncture your brain. You gotta let loose sometimes. I suppose. Thank you for your concern. So let's get sloshed, just like the old days. I even brought the booze. I wish I could, but I don't have the time. You'll drink with merchants and rich snobs, but not me? That stings, kid. Right in the gut. I see you're as pushy as ever. Alright, fine. One drink in the back room. Ha! That's what I'm talking about. My lord. I'll be fine, Odilion. We go back years. There's nothing wrong with a couple of friends sharing drinks after hours. If you insist, my lord, but the peasant must leave his blade behind. I will not, under any circumstances, allow you to be alone with an armed slum dweller. Eesh, everyone here needs to loosen up, huh? You seriously think I'm gonna pull a sword on an old pal? Humor me. Whatever, fine. You win, old-timer. Happy now? Yes. Sorry about that, Gretchen. Odilion's always on edge. It's nothing personal. Nah, it's cool. Can't say I blame him. Now, let's go get trashed. I brought a little something from the pub we used to taunt. Bet you usually drink way better shit than this now that you're friggin' lord. But it'll be like old times, you know? This reminds me of the time we had that drinking contest. Wanna go another round? I'll have to refrain. Odilion would murder me if I did that. Sounds like the geezer got you by the ball, huh? No fun allowed up in the lord house. It can be rather suffocating, yeah? Well, you can at least let loose today. 2 old times, kid. 2 old times. Now this is a sight I never dreamed of. The 2 of us here in the Lord Manor, drinking together. We were both slaves when we met, for God's sake. Ha! No fucking joke. You never know what life will bring you. Been almost 5 years since then. You weren't even 20 yet. I expect we both grown quite a bit since those days. Or are you still running around like a wild boar even now? Hard to say. I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be, but getting into shit kinda comes with the territory, you know? And the slum's still the same as ever. I see. So how's everyone doing down there? We're scraping by as usual. The rest of the gang and Maria? The guy's still lazing around at the pub all day. Maria rebuilt the brothel and she's getting by as best she can. Obviously not in the same place, and it's smaller than the old one. But for a chick, she's doing alright for herself. I'm glad to hear it. So tell me, kid, you and her totally had a thing, yeah? Where on earth did that come from? I believe I've already told you, no, we didn't. It just seems like she's about 10 times more worried about you than anyone else. There must have been something. Don't make sense otherwise. Maybe she just had a thing for you and you never saw it. Poor girl. There were no romantic feelings on either side. We were friends. Simple as that. Nothing more. Nothing less. Have you seen those honkers? What does that have to do with anything? It just don't make sense to me. How can a guy only be friends with a chick? It just means we value certain things in life differently. You know, you like to do that sometimes. We all get all weirdly noble like that. Hey, I didn't mean that as a jab. It has nothing to do with being noble. Maria's special. We've known each other most of our lives, and we've survived hell together. Oh yeah, you mentioned that before, didn't you? That you've known each other longer than anyone else? What was it like back then, for the two of you? Before I met her, Maria was raised in an orphanage. She said she ran off because she and the director didn't get along. Can't say I'm surprised. How about you? I hardly remember anything from before I came to this city. Just bits and pieces of what my mother told me. Being guarded by a bunch of men, being kidnapped by bandits. You mean that noble woman? Real shame you had to lose her so soon after reuniting, huh? Indeed it is. Don't you think it's about time you cut the shit? Excuse me? You're not a Barney heir. You didn't inherit the throne. You're just a damn fraud. Ain't that right, Jacopo? What are you talking? Finally starting to kick in, looks like. God, you got any idea how hard it was not to troll you through that entire conversation? What? Oh my god, no way. He poisoned him. Almost out of nowhere, my heart rate skyrocketed and my legs started trembling so violently, I had to lean against the wall to support myself. The whole world started swirling, and I could just barely make out my old friend glaring at me through the fog. How you like that? Feels like your heart about to burst, don't it? Don't you worry, kid. You won't be feeling nothing soon. You poisoned the drinks? What? Why would you? Why? You simply need to spell it out for you? Ha, you've been stuffing your head with the fucking rainbows up here. You wanna know what they call you down in the slums? Jacopo the betrayer. I did not betray. You take one goddamn look at a city and tell me that again. While you're up here treating anyone with a cart and some trinkets to sell like fucking royalty, the slums is still the same rat's nest you left it in. You left it. No, we're even worse off now. With your new marketplace, anyone can turn a little money into a big pile of gold. But if you got nothing to begin with, you're just dead in the streets. All you're doing is making the rich even richer. No, I'm trying. I wanted to explain how I had everything planned out. How I first needed to improve the economy as a whole before I could turn my attention to the less well-off. That nothing changing was a proof I was protecting them. That the slums had been in danger of being eradicated entirely, and I had stopped it. But I could see in his eyes that nothing I said would convince him. As far as he was concerned, I was pure evil. You're not the man you used to be. Gretchen, why, I thought you believed in me. You're damn right I did. And then you went and fed us a bunch of lies. You called yourself the rightful heir, you called yourself a Barney heir. But I did my digging. You don't got a lick of royal blood in you. All you ever wanted was to line your pockets, you selfish bastard. No, you never had any intention of helping us. Please, hear me out, Gretchen. We were all just pawns to you. The whole damn revolution was a part of your game. I'm begging you. How's it feel knowing your throne sits on the backs of those people you betrayed? Please. You don't have any right to call yourself the goddamn lord. Gretchen. Hell, you barely have the right to call yourself a fucking man. You're just a rat in fancy clothes. It should have been me. I would have made an infinitely better lord than you ever were. If only I had the ring, then it could have been me. So that's what this is all about. In a flash, everything I once felt for this man, all the friendship, the camaraderie, the sympathy, went cold. As much as he tried to dress up this whole farce, that was where his heart was truly was. He was just sour about not being the one who got to be Lord. He believed himself superior. He got himself caught up in the stupid fit of jealousy. And now he's trying to kill me over it? That's seriously all this is? Are you listening to a word you're saying? What was that? You're the one who's not the man he used to be. And you're the one who's being self-centered bastard. Talk all you want, dead man. The Gretchen I knew would never resort to using poison. He'd have drawn his sword the second he passed through those gates, faced me like a man. But look at you. Even Barnier had more spine than you. You dare compare me to this sack of shit? Alright, fine, I'll play it your way. He had a knife hidden on him. An instant later, Gretchen was brandishing a short blade. He had snuck it in under his clothes, I presume. I was almost amazed at how thoroughly prepared he was. He never had any intention of this going any other way. He hadn't come to talk. He was never going to hear me out. He was here to do one thing and one thing only. And I doubted he had any plans for what would come next. Raw hatred was all that fueled him. He wouldn't take my place after killing me. He wouldn't work himself to the bone to ensure the city kept running. He didn't give a single damn about any of that. You're scum. I won't be taken down by some worthless, self-absorbed rat. Nothing I had ever tried had been enough to best Gretchen in combat, and that was when I was at my peak. Not with a myriad needles of poison prickling in my every pore, barely able to stand under my own weight. But still, I had no intention of surrendering my life to this cur. I took in a deep breath, clenched my teeth, shouted at my shaking lips, "Move. Move. Move. Move, damn you!" My fingers, I could feel them again. Before the thought finished passing through my mind, my hand reached for a blade. Grasping the rapier hanging from the wall, I swiftly drew it from the scabbard. It was a decorative blade, not meant for combat. It would probably bounce right off Gretchen's muscular chest. But there was one place I could target. "Rot in hell, you son of a bitch!" Knife in hand, he lunged at me, just moments before death befell me. My vision, blurred by the poison, grew unbelievably clear. Gretchen almost appeared to be moving in slow motion. I'm not sure my mind had ever been so clear, so sharp in battle before. The dying embers of my fading life burned anew into a blazing inferno. Unlike my fight with Barnier, this one was over in an instant. Before I had time to breathe or even blink, it was settled. And in the same instant, everything I'd built up with this man turned to dust. Oh God. I had never once defeated him. For as long as I know him, I always number 2. And now, for the very first time, oh my God, I won. Why did it have to be you there and not me? The blade of the rapier in my hand skewered Gretchen's throat. His mouth flapped open and shut like a fish. He glared at me, face twisted in a mixture of hatred and agony, sputtering fragments of contempt, until the life drained from his eyes. My first victory against my old friend also took his life, and it all happened in the blink of an eye, hardly enough time to even register in my mind. My lord, what was all that commotion? What happened? Oh God. He's laughing like a crazy person. My lord, please stay with me. Were you poisoned? Is anyone there? Liege, yes sir. A doctor, as quickly as you can. My lord, please, my lord. A doctor will be here shortly. Please stay with me for just a little longer. My lord. Odelian, you're right. I was stupid. I should have listened. I thought he was my friend, but he wasn't. Not anymore. And because we had once been friends? That made him my greatest threat. Oh god. No, this is too sad. Jacobo. Can't breathe. My blood feels like it's made of magma. My throat burns. My skin, it's like it's been eaten away. Whoa. Who's there? Who's there? Why are you laughing? Oh god. Oh, fucking. Holy. Okay, that was a jump scare. I totally did not expect that. Oh my god, that actually scared me. What the hell? How does it feel, boy? To know it all went exactly as I said it would. What? How? But that you wouldn't be able to trust anyone. You're dead. The worst is yet to come, boy. Silence. You could work yourself to the marrow of your bones and still the people will never look beyond the surface. I said enough. Listen, you can hear the scorn in their voices. They're calling you a tyrant, a soulless monster. I know you can hear them. They are not. They say you're no better than me. That you're a foolish ruler who cares not for his people. They shout an endless cacophony of discontent. Shut up. Just shut up. I'm nothing like you. Can you then remain a virtuous leader no matter how bitterly your people despise you? Is your love for them truly so resolute? No. The virtue you brandish was never so selfless. Tell me I'm wrong, slum rat. It is not benevolence that drove you to take the throne, but a thirst for power, for prestige. Not another word. Do you know what truly brought you here? You were tired of people looking down on you. You thought you would be treated with respect if you had real power. You wanted it more than anything in the world. Enough already. You dedicating your life in service of others, it was never going to last. Allow me to make a prediction. Soon, very soon, you found yourself drifting over to my side. You'll stop caring about the people's life, and for that, they will despise you. You lose any last bit of sense left in you. Push everyone away until you're all alone, and then you'll succumb completely to madness' grip. Stop talking. You don't have what it takes to be the lord of the land. I said stop talking. Oh god. The people aren't the only ones who aren't on your side. You have enemies everywhere you look. Ha. The nobles don't accept you as one of them. They'll try to drag you off your throne by any means. Your aides and servants will turn on you. And this won't be the last time you ride in the claws of poison. Again and again and again, and never will you stop being the target of others' loathing. Or will you continue to act like some kind of paragon of virtue, never wavering in your faith in others? How long will your benevolence last, in the face of dozens of attempts on your life? Shut your goddamn mouth. It won't be easy, boy. Because you came from the slums, you'll face even more, even greater threats than I. Silence! I bet that just terrifies you. Drains all the hope from your heart. Well, there's an easy solution. Follow in my footsteps and reign with terror. Stop talking. I've heard enough of your goddamn noise. You're already afflicted with a great curse, boy. A curse known as the Lord of the Land. It's a curse from which you'll never be free, and hence, you will never be free from me. Oh, that is just evil. However, much you may come to regret taking that throne, you can't give it back now. It's not something you can simply hand off to someone else, nor a duty from which you can simply relieve yourself. The anguish and agony and misery it brings you every day will follow you all the way to your grave. Just stop, damn it. Give your babbling to yourself, you damn ghost. Go on, try and make me. Cover my mouth, why don't you? You can't do it, can you? You're too weak to defeat even a mere spirit. Shut the hell up. I know precisely what your future holds, boy. You'll sit up on the throne alone. Not a single person at your side. and not even death shall free you from your eternal solitude, for it is not but an empty shell with which you decorate a throne. Stop talking. Do you hear that, slum rat? Someone come for you. The question is, do they act out of genuine concern? Can you be sure the water they give you is safe to drink? Perhaps they mean to finish you off. If a simple grunt like him could get his hands on poison, how easy do you think it would be for the Lost Consul to procure a substance hundreds of times more potent? Hell, he wouldn't even have to go through the trouble. You're no more a threat than an insect with its wings torn off. A feeble woman or crippled slave could plunge a knife into your trembling spine with little effort. Behold, the former mastermind of the revolution. All this suffering, you brought it on yourself by trying to defy your fate. Ha! Oh my god. The nightmares continued. Again and again they haunted me. Every time I drifted off to sleep, there floated Barnier's severed head, cursing me, mocking me, laughing at me from every direction. And as he said I would soon begin to hear the people as well, endlessly condemning me, derading me, betraying me. I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, but Grecian words told me otherwise. All my old companions called me Jacopo the Betrayer, he had said. I wasn't sure how much time had passed. Was it day? Was it night? Was I sane enough to tell the difference? Was I even still alive? I had no idea. It was always the same refrain every time he appeared. You can't trust anyone. Your friends will eventually betray you, try to drag you off your throne. Your people have no faith in you. Everyone despises you. I couldn't even tell anymore. Were those Barnier words? Or were they coming from the depths of my own mind? All I knew for certain was that there was no escaping them, and that they were slowly eating away at my spirit. My breathing was labored, and my entire body felt like it was on a spit, being roasted in the eternal flames of hell. And at other times, I couldn't stop shivering. I felt like I had been tossed into a frozen river. Doctors, guards, Odilian, I couldn't tell who was who, but there was always seemed to be someone standing at my side. The faceless shadows were anything but comforting though, for Barnier ghosts constantly reminded me of the threat they posed. I quite certainly wailed like a terrified child. Everyone seemed to like danger. Even if Gretchen couldn't be trusted, who was to say the doctors weren't sneaking poison into my medicine? Who was to say Odilian didn't plan to silently remove me? I didn't know who I could trust. Or maybe Barnier was right. I couldn't trust anyone. Still he cackled. Still he cursed, right by my ear. There isn't a soul left in this world who won't betray you, he whispered, laughing away. Oh god. But my fever seemed to be receding. I can finally move again. It looked like I survived. Hey, is anyone there? Where are you, Odilian? Anyone? Lord Barnier, I'm so glad to see you're feeling well again. Thanks. We've all been worried sick. Lord Barnier? What? Oh, pardon. You just seem not quite yourself. But after all that's happened, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. How long was I out? 3 days, sir. The poison kept you bedridden for 3 days and nights. That long, huh? Then I've got a lot of work to catch up on. Yes, sir, but I implore you to take things easy for the next few days. When do I ever have time for that? Now, where's Odilian? I haven't seen him. Go fetch him for me. He's presently... Don't tell me he's not around. Where the hell did that old man get off to? No, he's here. Please, Lord Barnier, try to remain calm. Odilian was... Odilian! My lord, is that you? Thank heavens you're well. Forget about me. What happened? My deepest apologies. I don't want an apology. I want you to tell me why this happened. Please, my lord, distress not over this simple old man. Why Odilion, the Odilion I knew, would never deign to put himself in front of a gang of slum dwellers. What? Please, Lord Barnier, try to remain calm. Odilion was struck in the head with stone and is in critical condition. The following day, that is, the day after Gretchen poisoned me, a dozen people from the slums showed up at the manor gates. They cried in angry protest against the Lord, demanding change. Evidently, Gretchen hadn't kept word of my deception to himself, so in addition to their other complaints, they shouted that I was a fake, and that I wasn't actually nobility. They threatened to reveal my secret if I didn't do something about their living condition. As the commotion dragged on through the day, people within the manor started getting restless. Eventually, it got to be so tense that Odilion stood near a window, told them they needed to cease immediately, and that if they wouldn't, they would be charged with lese majesty, which is when he was hit in the head with a rock and lost consciousness. God, you damn fool! I am quite pleased to see you have recovered, enough to shout with such vigor. Now, I needn't worry. Wait, slow down, worry about what? Regrettably, it would seem old age has bested me. I think the stone must have gotten my eyes, for I cannot see you there, my lord. I'm right here. Please don't give up on me, you're stronger than the stupid rock. Give it a few days and you'll be back to perfect health. And even if your sight doesn't come back, you can still do your job. I can tell you everything I see. Come on, Odilion. My sincerest apologies. Please, why would you even go and try to talk them down yourself anyway? Whatever happened to acting only in your own benefit? What did you have to gain from not having them executed on the spot? They were rioting in front of the Lord's manor. You had no reason bother warning them. There was no question they were committing a serious offense. Why didn't you just do what you would always do? And then I would agree with you about it, like I always do. What the hell got into you, Dillian? I suppose I must have softened up somewhat. Excuse me? You cared so much about your friend in the slums, my lord, that I took pity on them. Old age seemed to weaken more than just the body. How truly inconvenient. Oh, Odilion. Nevertheless, I'm glad this old body held out until today. What are you? I would not have been able to pass on peacefully had I not seen you recovered from the poison, my lord. Stop it. Don't talk like that. I told you, you're stronger than one damn rock. I'm your lord, damn it. My word is the law. It is with great regret that I must defy my lord's command. Enough. I mean it. You stop this right now. Oh, my warnings against being swayed by your emotions remained unheeded, I see. And who the hell's fault do you think that is, huh? You are the Lord. The sooner you learn to control that blaze, the smoother your future endeavors will proceed. Do not allow your days to be cut short as well, in moments' weakness. I implore you to always remain strong and ever high of heart, so that none may drag you down. Wow, with death upon me, my hands are shaking dreadfully. I didn't think anything scared you. It terrifies me to know I'll be leaving you alone. Before I was able to teach you everything, I cannot bear knowing that I have forsaken you. But at the onset of a great and perilous journey, there is so much more I have yet to pass on to you, that you will need in order to become a great ruler. So much. Then don't go, stay and teach me. You said you want to fulfill your duties as a consul, that you didn't want to die until you had accomplished something worthwhile. You can't tell me you're satisfied with this. Odilion. Odilion? Odilion. Don't do this. You can't. Say something. Please, say anything. Tell me it's all a cruel prank. Odilion. No. Oh, God. Lord Barnier. Odilion is dead. Make arrangements for a funeral. Yes, Lord. And what happened with the riot? They fled soon after striking Odilion. I would wager they returned to the city. Thank you. Would you like something done about them, Lord? I would. They need to understand that their actions have consequences. They slander their lord and murdered his council. We can't just let them walk away from that now, can we? Then we will have them all arrested and thrown in the dungeon. I said there would be consequences. If we just left them on the wrist, they will come back and do it again. They'll mock me, condescend me, ridicule me, keep making a mess of my home. Tell me, do you feel safe serving a lord whose people neither respect nor fear him? Would you have any admiration for a leader like that? Have them executed. Since Odilion isn't here to advise it, I, Lord Barnier, officially order every spark of opposition is to be snuffed out. You find every last one of the rats and relieve them of their heads. And then put them on display in the city square. Make sure they know damn well exactly what awaits. Anyone who opposes Lord Barnier. Yes, Lord. Odilion's blood was on my hands. My inexperience and naivety had gotten him killed. He had warned me again and again that my people had no love for me, but I ignored him, foolishly believing in friendship, letting Gretchen into my house, and ultimately getting Odilion murdered. My trust didn't belong with Gretchen or my old slum companions. It belonged with Odilion. I should have realized so much sooner that he was the one and only person left I could trust. Men with whom I'd spent years had likely participated in that riot. Men whose names I knew, whose faces I recognized, with whom I had spoken on countless occasions. But I felt not even a pang of regret in ordering their death. I didn't reminisce about the good old days. Those days were gone, irrelevant, meaningless. I felt no sympathy for the poor they were leaving behind. Nor did I do so much as bat an eye when I saw their bodies lined up before me. Compassion's bred weakness made you vulnerable. I had to excise every last bit of it. It was the last thing I needed, for I was the Lord Jean-Francois Barnier. Oh my. Hey, look at all those heads. Supposedly they were beheaded for trying to assassinate the Lord. That seems like a lot of folks for an assassination attempt. Who can say what happened up yonder? Have you been down to the square today? I have, my heavens, I almost passed out at the sight of it. Why would those stupid thugs try to go after the Lord anyway? There's been whispering around town. They say he was actually born in the slums and isn't noble at all. Wasn't that just his cover while he was in hiding from the phony Barnier? I certainly hope that's the case. But either way, it's probably best to keep quiet about the topic. I'll say, I doubt he'll do anything as bad as the phony, but it still brings back bad memories. And things were getting to be so pleasant too. Oh. What is this? Some kind of sick joke? Fucking Gretchen at the very front. At the other guys he used to hang out with at the pub. Did you kill them all, Jacopo? You killed all your old friends? Why? What the hell, Jacopo? You would never hurt anyone. What happened to you? You went through hell with these guys. How could you just fucking murder them? Have you really changed that much? You have. You have, Jacopo. You have become completely different, man. Oh, God. No, you're long dead. You died in that goddamn revolution. The Jacopo I knew no longer exists. All that's left is Lord Barnier. Everyone, they're all gone. You, Morgana, Jern, Gretchen, every last one. What the fuck, man? Oh boy. I appointed a new council shortly after Odilion's death, but he was an ineffectual, short-sighted oaf. And to top it off, he had tendency to simply nod and agree with anyone and everyone rather than express any opinion of his own. If anything, having him around made my job more difficult. But it wasn't as though there was anyone else competent enough to take the position, and relieved him so soon would come with its own crop of problems. So I ended up using him to shuffle papers and handle other material work while I took care of the actual decision making. My first order of business was to establish clearly defined rules and punishments. Speaking ill of the Lord, spreading false rumors about his lineage, grading art of any form which could be interpreted as defamatory. These were all considered acts of lèse majesté, and in the most severe cases were potentially punishable by death. I started seeing results almost immediately. The people stopped claiming I was a fake, that I came from the slums. That Barnier name became a symbol of fear once again. My renovation efforts proceeded as originally planned. The city flourished as a commerce hub, attracting merchants and patrons and visitors from near and far. Some fields had to be removed as well to accommodate the expansion of the marketplace, but they were all hardly producing anything worthwhile to begin with. If farmers wanted to keep farming, they were free to move elsewhere. I scaled down the size of the slums while scaling up security. Lacking leadership, what little remained of the peacekeeper group had turned into a gang of unruly thugs, so rather than keeping the peace, they largely made things worse. In response, I forbade the formation of an authorized organization within the slums, and with all that in place, the city was much safer and much orderly, and the economy significantly stronger than it had been under my predecessor's rule. However, those unfortunate enough to miss riding the wave of economic growth found themselves falling ever further behind their neighbors. The ravine between the poor and the wealthy had become nigh uncrossable. My own manor was hardly a bastion of safety either. Not only was I rapidly enacting new policy, laws were stricter and punishments harsher than before. So many were, to put it lightly, more than little displeased with me. I'd gone through several food tasters, and just as many direct assassination attempts. It wasn't particularly difficult to avoid major incident by simply suspecting everyone, but I could seldom relax as a result. In time, I came to prefer solitude. Well, not much prefer, as require it for my own safety. Odilian death left me with more than just solitude though. The phantom slipped free from my dreams, appearing from my shadows wherever I was alone, laughing endlessly. What did I tell you, boy? You're controlling them with fear just as I did. It's a wonderful feeling, is it not? The look of terror on a man's face is the most exciting thing in all the world. Silence, you. Stand by the window and listen. You can hear them all the way from the bottom of the hill, bemoaning the great and terrible Lord Barnier. Be quiet, and you know who their cries are about. It's not me any longer. It's you, boy. Shut up, goddammit. Don't fool yourself. You're no better than me. Enough, I said silence, spirit. I am nothing like you. Is that so? Then tell me, boy, how do we differ? I don't hold those disgusting banquets for one, nor do I torture slaves for my own sick pleasure. By your command, hundreds of slaves are being worked so hard it will surely spell their deaths. How is that any different than murder or torture? Their deaths aren't meaningless. They're giving their lives for the good of the city. In your eyes, perhaps, but how many would take your side? You have no idea what you're talking about. If the people were truly satisfied with your rule, you wouldn't be holed up in this room all the time. You have no one you can open up to, no one to offer you companionship. What better proof your tyrannical ways than your own isolation? Shut your goddamn mouth, you wretched man. How many times have you been betrayed? Have you found anyone you can trust after all your old friends proved you couldn't even count on them? Oh, for God's sake, quit babbling already. Solitude will be your constant companion for the rest of your days. And should you let your guard down even for a moment, know that 100 men lie in wait, ready to plunge their blade into your back. Your attendants dream of the day they can sneak poison past your taster. Shut up! Ah, you poor, pathetic child. How much misery and stress have you brought upon yourself because you let your dreams run amok, clawing your way up into a world much, much too big for you. Begone, damn you! Ah, my lord, I heard a huge crash. Lord, how many times do I have to tell you to stay out of my chambers? Forgive me, but I was afraid that you might be in. I can take care of myself, damn it. Don't make me say it again. Yes, sir. To hell with you. We're nothing alike. I'm making their lives better, not worse. I'm not a tyrant. I started relying on alcohol to rid myself of the phantom. When I was drunk enough, I didn't have to see anything. I didn't dream, I didn't have nightmares, and most importantly, I didn't have to think. There were times I couldn't be sure whether I was in my right mind. There were times I was so panicked I wanted to scream my throat raw. But there was never a time I was safe showing that weakness. I knew from experience it would only put me at risk. I couldn't complain to anyone. I couldn't ask anyone for help. I couldn't believe in anyone. Odilian dying words came back to me again and again. Stay strong and ever high of heart. What did it even mean to be high of heart, though? Certainly I had nothing to be proud of. Not having spent my early years a filthy, impoverished slum rat, not having spearheaded a violent revolution and stole the throne, not this farce of tale about me secretly being a noble. I hadn't been raised to be a lord. I hadn't been taught to have proud, noble spirit. That was likely what Odilian had wanted to impart upon me. The nature of a ruler. People automatically respect a man who is truly dignified and noble. They instinctively admire him, kneeling out of wholehearted honor. And that's what makes a true king. Not knowing the first thing about how to be that kind of man, I fell back on the only alternative that came to mind, forcing them to kneel beneath my iron fist. 2 years under Odilian tutelage was nowhere near long enough to instill in me the natural nobility that I needed. Thus, was I left to be tormented by this accursed phantom whenever alone and played the ruthless ruler elsewhere. In my attempts to mask the fear lurking within, I grew louder and more ostentatiously contemptuous. Practically every other word out of my mouth was an insult. The old Jacopo was long gone, and Lord Barnier had crept in to take his place. It was gradual enough that I hardly realized what it was happening. But now, all I saw in the mirror was the face of a cruel, wretched man. I even came to hate my old self, to think him foolish. What kind of vapid, nebulous dream was, I want to go out into the world? What basis did I have for thinking myself any more significant than any other kid on the streets? And where the hell did I get the idea that having influence meant having freedom? I could barely even take care of myself. Where did I get off on little thinking a power would let me protect the people I cared about? And what about now? What, fundamentally, did I even want now? What did I have to protect? Nothing. I was far too gone. There was no light to be found, no matter how far I marched this path. An only bottomless abyss waited at my back. I had left myself with nowhere to return to. Oh my. Before I knew it, nearly 4 years had passed since the revolution. By then, not a soul there defied my will. I was surrounded by people who supported my every decision. Few of them genuinely agreed with me on everything, obviously, but no one could deny how much growth I'd brought about, and so long as I continued to produce results, I would continue to have their outward support. As a trading hub, the city flourished, but the citizens were less than thrilled about the work I was doing. The poorest, especially, seemed to hold a great deal of enmity for me. But I was reaching the point where I couldn't manage on the support of the upper crust alone. Simply dumping sacks of coin into the streets wouldn't end poverty, though, and increasing taxes on imported goods would undermine everything I'd built up. Lacking an actual solution, all I could do was work to make them feel like they were better off than they actually were. Fortunately, it was much easier to pull the wool over the middle and lower classes' eyes than it was the better educated upper class. I started by building public recreational facilities which citizens had priority access to, and then I turned my eyes towards religion. About a year earlier, as part of the city expansion, a bridge was built across the river that served as the city-effective border. Wait. Oh, I remember that bridge! It's the one Giselle spoke about with Michelle. I remember that. Oh my. A church had still not been established in the new district, so I wanted to build one and gather the following. Conveniently enough, my predecessor had been in the process of building a second manor on the other side of the river, and with a little bit of work, it could easily be repurposed into a church. Oh, now we get to the church. That is the house in Fata Morgana, essentially. We're reaching that point. We're starting to scratch the surface. Once people started making use of the church, it would be simple to win their favor by making myself known as a generous patron. Fate was the ultimate blinder for the uneducated, and history showed time and time again that religion could be a powerful tool in the right hands. But the high foreigner and merchant population of the city meant that no particular religion had managed to take hold. The merchants especially tended to develop their own individual philosophies over the years, with few caring much for higher powers. That was possible explanation for why the church had never had much sway in this region. There was, therefore, a chance the whole thing could just be a colossal waste of money. However, I had recently caught wind of a curious rumor. There was a nun serving at a small church at the far edge of town who people had come to refer to as the Saintess. He's talking about Pauline. Then we're about to see them? Mary, come here, Sister Mary. Yes! We do. Oh, what is it? We picked some flowers for you. Take a look, they're so pretty. Oh, why thank you. They're beautiful. Get it away from me. Wow, she actually fell for it. Hey now, how many times do I have to tell you it's not nice to trick people? You're too much fun to tease, Sister Mary. That's hardly an excuse. It's still wrong. I'm your big sister here, so you need to treat me like... there's a bug on your dress. What? No way. Where is it? Get it off me. Someone get it off me. Just kidding, there's nothing there. Get back here, you little rascals. So her name is Mary. Not quite what I envisioned of so-called saintess. She seeks out orphans to take into her care and offers food for the hungry, shelters for the homeless, and rest for the weary. And where exactly do funds for that come from? She covers it all herself, supposedly. I highly doubt she had that kind of money just sitting around. Look at the building, it's practically falling apart. Wait a second, I get it. She makes use of all the church's resources to fund her charity. That is correct, my lord. Huh, is she really so foolish as not to realize that's unsustainable? The locals are quite fond of her, but the same cannot be said of the priest of the nun and the other nuns. Her work is causing them great financial stress. I'm not surprised. Shall I summon her? No, don't bother. I've seen more than enough. Yes, my lord. What? You have something to say? No, my lord. I simply find it curious you would take the time to come all the way out here when you have far more important work to attend to. Not that I would ever imply your judgment is anything other than impeccable, my lord. I just thought this saintess might be someone I knew. Pardon? But I was mistaken. They don't call her saintess because she does God's work. They just call her that because she's a goddamn goody two-shoes. Oh, we thought it was Morgana. So much for words having actual meaning, Christ. I see. Lord Barnier? It's nothing. I'm heading back now. Yes, sir. Mary, the giant's man here. Come on now, be polite. It's Yukimasa. Oh, nice. Good day, Mary. The kid seems to be doing quite well. Oh, you have no idea. So well, in fact, that this little hooligan found himself a whole handful of bugs. And goodness, he about scared me out of my skin. A little mischief is a good thing. Their smiles wouldn't be half as bright as any other orphanage. I'm not so sure about that. In any case, here's what I earned this week. No, I keep telling you that is not necessary. But you do accept tithes, no? Yes, but still. I know it's hardly enough to cover what you need, but please. No, that's not what I mean. It's your money. You should use it for it yourself. I have nothing to use it on. You'll put it much better use than I ever could. Alright, thank you. But try not to work yourself too hard, okay? I promise. Goodness, you really make a lot in a week. I didn't realize carpentry paid so well. Indeed. I'm fortunate enough to have found good work. Maybe I'll leave the church and take up carpentry myself. Just kidding. You kid, but you would do quite well for yourself. You're strong enough to carry me, at least. That took every last bit of strength I had. Who is that man? Even with all the foreigners we get here, I've never seen anyone who looks like that. He's a frequent visitor to this church, though he does not appear to come for the charity. Oh, an Oriental, perhaps? Oriental? My former consul told me of them once. Vagrants from the Far East who supposedly look much like that man. How curious. He may be able to fool the nun, but I know damn well no carpenter in the world makes that much in a week. There's something fishy about him. Look into that man. Tell me anything you find out about him. Yes, Lord Barnier. Now I'm heading back. Okay, it seems like we're kind of speeding through the whole gathering Yukimasa information process and make him join. Let's see. In addition to the renovation for the church and gathering intel on the Far Eastern Man, I made sure to keep an eye out for any unusual rumors or happening outside the city borders. Of all the reports I received, that no one that caught my attention was word of a witch who lived by a lake. Oh, this lakeside witch supposedly had miraculous powers, allowing her to cure any ailment, and the effect was transmitted through her blood. This wasn't the first time I had heard of the witch, an elderly woman who prepared and sold medicinal herbs, but I hadn't realized she also traded in miracles. It sounded like a bunch of snake oil to me, but she had allegedly cured a deadly ill young girl, and started to make quite a name for herself. Oh, so he thinks Morgana is the old woman that was in the cabin, dead when Morgana got in. But on top of that, they also said the second of the witch first cry had ended in a years-long drought in the village where she was born. This doesn't bode well. Why not, my lord? Try using your damn head for once in a while, would you? Two competing denominations forming so close together, don't you see how that could lead to all sorts of headaches? The objective is to unify the people under a single banner, to which I then pledge my support and earn their favor. But that all becomes moot if their fate turns towards this witch. The people do love their heroes and miracles after all. It is quite an attractive proposition, I must say. I'm mocking them, you buffoon. I beg your pardon. The chances of it growing into something actually worth worrying are about as slim. But better to snuff the flame out before it spreads than sit back and hope it burns itself out. Shall I deliver an order for her to cease operation then? That would be best. Actually, no. I'll deal with this personally. You just keep your mouth shut and do exactly as you're ordered. Nothing more, nothing less. Understood? Yes, Lord. To start, summon the men from the church. A few days later, I was standing face to face with a man in my audience room. He seemed much less personable in person than when I seen him with the nun. Stone-faced, cold, and faintly smelled of blood. Not that I could actually smell blood, but there was an animalistic air emanating from him. That much I had expected, though. I knew before summoning him that he was anything but a respectable man. I take it you're the Oriental man who's been seen buzzing around the local church of late? That would be me, yes? What of it? Who do you think you're talking to, you impudent rat? Show some damn respect. Apologies. I'm not very familiar with the local customs or language. Huh. Very well then. You're fortunate I'm such an understanding man. Yeah, we're back to this, Jacopo. Now, for the reason I called you here, you're the one who killed that cartful of slaves 4 years ago, aren't you? So you know about that. Ha, I wasn't actually sure it was you, but now I have confirmation. Since then, one slave of Far Eastern origin has remained unaccounted for. I take it that would be you. That's right. You made one hell of a mess out there. Am I here to be punished? That depends on how our talk goes. If you think I'm going back to being slave, you're fooling yourself. Huh, I don't need any more damn slaves, and I certainly don't want you as one. You're obviously not finding any respectable work being an ex-slave, so I take it you're still in the business of getting your hands dirty, are you not? I assume you're playing cat burglar or something, licking off whatever you can swipe from the nearest unlucky bastard. Correct. Isn't it comical, then, that you would choose God's sacred house to stretch your legs in, you filthy dog? I absolutely agree. I thought that would get a reaction out of you, but it seems you've got no bite in you today. Never mind, let's get down to business. You're going to help me out with a little bit something I'm working on. Help you with what, exactly? Something that's going to make me a lot of money, and if you lend a hand, I'll make sure you're well taken care of. Along with the church you're so fond of, and the nun you've taken a liking to. That nun of yours has made quite a name for herself. Out in the city proper, people have started calling her the Saintess. They're right about that, she is. Ha, the commoners love their heroes and saints, they eat that rubbish right up. But saint or not, you can't simply create food from nothing. Her work is causing financial trouble for the church, is it not? It is, yes. If you help me with this, I'm offering you an entirely new church, one where she has complete control to do as she wishes. She'll make it into the biggest church of in the city. She'll be able to help even more people, which should surely please her. What would you have me do? Jumping at the first whiff of scraps, you really are a dog, aren't you? I don't like conversation that overstay their welcome. Ha, fair enough. Then let's get to business. Not far from here lives a witch whose blood has the powers to cause miracles. Miracle blood? Sound like a sham to me. You never know. They say the sound of her first cry brought rain to the land where she was born, saving the whole village from drought. And they say her blood has the power to cure any disease. I'll worry about the veracity of the rumors later. Right now, all I want is for you to capture her and bring her to me. Explain something to me, Lord. You said that if I helped you, then none would be able to save more people than she does now. So how does capturing this witch accomplish that? I'm glad you know how to listen, dog. Oh god. We'll be turning the blood into a miracle elixir, which she will then distribute to patrons of the church. In exchange for tithes, of course. Selling it then. Selling isn't quite the right word, but if that's how you want to think of it, by all means. The commoner's beloved saint is handing out an all-powerful miracle medicine. They'll lap it up. And in turn, you'll make a fortune. Exactly. Money I can use to support our church. It'll be a boon to the city economy as well. A single witch freedom is all it'll cost for everyone to come here out happy. So, what will it be? Will you help? Or will I have to? I'll help. I have no reason not to. Decisive and good listener. Excellent. Once I've captured a witch, where do I take her? I have a mansion set aside where your nun can run her church. There's an observation tower on the grounds. The witch will be kept locked up there to ensure we have a constant supply of blood. Okay, when do you want me to get her? You're just chomping at the bit now, aren't you? I thought you'd hesitate a little, but I guess it was foolish of me to presume you to understand how a killer's mind works. All the resources I put into investigating you and everyone close to you were wasted, it would seem. Do you even have a conscience? Don't act like you're any different. I assure you, I have a conscience. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't necessary for the growth of the city. No, I mean you're as much as a murderer as me. Oof, that hit hard. You would never come up with a scheme like this if your hands were clean. The man's right. You're nothing but a murderer. How deep has the blood seeped into your hands? How many have you killed claiming their lives necessary sacrifices? And how many more will die for your for ambition? Silent spirit. That's such a weird thing to say. That poor witch, blessed with the power to perform miracle only to win her the attention of the villainous lord. It must be done. I don't have to explain myself to you. It's not like the old hag has long to live anyway. What the hell is villainous about having her spend her final days for the greater good of the city? So many lives will be improved at the cost of only one. You keep telling yourself that, boy. But what you're doing is no different than my banquets. You're cut from the same cloth as the men standing before you. And the same cloth as me. Begone, phantom. Watch your mouth, dog. Don't you dare insinuate I would ever condescend to your level. Damn it. That's the first time he'd shown up with someone else around. At least you behave yourself today. I'm pretty sure you're smarter than most people I deal with. And you won't betray me either. Who knows how much longer he'll live, though. Stay. Don't touch it until I say so. Oh, quit pouting at me like that. You're the Lord Dog. Stand tall and proud. Oh, that was supposed to be barking? I thought someone was choking. Okay. Alright, here you are. Drink up. Looks like it's safe. I swear, so much work just to get myself a damn drink of water. When I heard about the Saintess, I thought it might be you, but it was someone else. I never did get around to resuming the search after Adelian passed. There's no one around I can trust with such a sensitive task, though it's probably for the best if I never do find you. We can't go back to the way we were before. You wouldn't even recognize me anymore. I had to say it. Not that there's much chance you're even still alive. If, by some strange chance, you are still alive, what would you think of the man I've become? And that will be all for today's video, and I have to apologize for my reading. Apparently I was so off of it. I tried to do my best, but some of the words was super difficult for me. But you know what? I'm trying to improve every single day. I promise I'll work on that. Other than that, the story itself is amazing. We got to see so much after the revolution. Jacopo basically completely deteriorated because he tried to help everyone, and unfortunately you cannot do that. You just can't. He tried to help the city, and he completely unable to help his friends at the slums. Even got to a point where Gretchen tried to assassinate him, which is... it was so unfortunate. Even though I think Gretchen assassinating him was a mixture of jealousy rather than just complete hatred for the fact that he essentially betrayed them. It still feels so bad, and seeing Maria so heartbroken about that as well, that was a dagger in the heart, honestly. But now we reached the point where he met with Yukimasa and the Saintons, and he's arranging Yukimasa to bring Morgana to the Watchtower. So I feel like we're at the end, actually. I kind of wonder how much we have left, even though I still have to do all the sub-episodes and the epilogue, because I want to reach the epilogue and see how it ends. It kind of feels like we're towards the ends of the main story. But I might be wrong about that. Maybe there will be more to it. But yeah, that was a lot for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.